Good evening, everyone. You're listening to Red Pill 78. I am the corruption detector, and this is your Red Pill News. I want to say thank you very much for joining me, everyone. I'm so glad to have you back. A couple of quick things before we get into the news. First of all, yesterday, when I did the section on Little Greta, someone, or actually a couple people, suggested that I was mischaracterizing her, that she's 16 years old, therefore she's not a little girl. Well, maybe it's because I have a daughter, and I consider her to be a little girl until she's 18, and even then she'll always be my little girl. But as a minor, I see her as a little girl. On top of that, she's wearing braids like a child, makes me think that she is immature and that she's being used. Now, you can characterize her however you want, but this is my own perception, and that's all that was meant by it. Secondly, when I showed the video of the Kuwaiti girl, I accidentally said that she was Iraqi, and even though I said that it was from the Iraq War, I also said something about in New York in 2001. So that was a complete mess up. I need to retract that. I just want everybody to know that testifying before Congress about the incubators, that was all from the Iraq War, but the point remains the same. Now, the stuff we're really going to get into today, guys, is about Ukraine. The White House has released the transcript of the conversation between President Trump and the Ukrainian president. There is nothing there except when you're talking about Joe Biden. We've got Hillary Clinton freaking out. We've got the Democrats absolutely going nuts. And it turns out that one of the lawyers representing the whistleblower, who's not really a whistleblower, is a close associate of Hillary Clinton, has actually worked for her before. So it looks like, yet again, Democrats and Hillary, they are pushing their people to create a false outrage mob of a nothing burger when it comes to President Trump again. He's done absolutely nothing wrong except set the Democrats up with a bucket of horse crap for them to step in yet again. Rudy Giuliani is still out there talking about it. It just keeps getting worse and worse, and I would not be surprised if Joe Biden ended his presidential run any day. All right, guys, go ahead, sit back, relax, grab your popcorn. We'll be right back after a quick word from my sponsor. Joint health and mobility is not permanent. As the human body ages, there is a natural decline in bone mass and density along with reduced flexibility and mobility, which has a negative impact on your quality of life. Say goodbye to achy knees, stiff shoulders, back pain, sore elbows, and wrist irritation, and feel 20 to 30 years younger and pain-free. Reclaim your youth with Joint Pain Hack now. Joint Pain Hack reduces inflammation, restores worn-out joints, improves mobility and flexibility, supports joint and muscle health, supports cellular protection and repair, soothes aching muscles. Every single ingredient inside Joint Pain Hack has been clinically proven to help relieve joint pain and different types of inflammation. On top of that, Joint Pain Hack actually contains the perfect dosages that have been used in peer-reviewed studies. Unlike other brands that just throw in low doses of all sorts of ingredients to help sell their product, when in reality it won't do anything for you. With Joint Pain Hack, you can feel confident that you'll have the best defense against any sort of pain. So don't wait until it's too late. Start feeding your body the nutrients it deserves. Visit www.relaxthepain.com. That's www.relaxthepain.com and support your health. Soon. All right, now, as I said yesterday, I am ready for arrests. Just because I'm ready for arrests does not mean that I am not still trusting the plan, but I am human, and I am free to say that I am ready to see this stuff go down, and I think that we are just about there. All right, so first of all, we are going to take a look at a tweet from President Trump, and then we're going to get into the transcript from the actual phone call. Like I said, I think that this was a trap. Me and my friends have been talking about it for days. They were set up. The Democrats were put in this position so that they would ask for this information to come out. And now that it's coming out, it is clearly bad for Joe Biden. Let's get into it. All right, so right here, President Trump says, will the Democrats apologize after seeing what was said on the call with the Ukrainian president? They should. A perfect call. Got them by surprise. That's right, he sure did get them with this one. Let's go take a look at the reporting by the Daily Caller on this, and we'll look at the actual transcript of the phone call, and you'll see what was said. All right, from the Daily Caller, here is the transcript of Trump's call with the Ukrainian president. The White House released the declassified and unredacted transcript of President Donald Trump's call with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky that became the center of a whistleblower complaint on Wednesday. Trump announced Tuesday while at the United Nations General Assembly that he would release the transcript in order to push back on claims he had threatened to withhold aid from Ukraine until they agreed to investigate his political opponent, former Vice President Joe Biden. The transcript reveals that the president asked Zelensky to investigate Crowdstrike, the private security group the Democratic National Committee hired to analyze the Russian hacks on their servers, as well as firing of a prosecutor who was looking into Biden's son's business ties in Ukraine. Nowhere in the call does Trump tie military aid to his request for an investigation of Biden. Now, here is the transcript itself. I heard you had a prosecutor who was very good, and he was shut down, and that's really unfair, Trump said. A lot of people are talking about that, the way they shut your very good prosecutor down. He continued, there's a lot of talk about Biden's son, that Biden stopped the prosecution, and a lot of people want to find out about that. So whatever you can do with the attorney general would be great. Biden went around bragging that he stopped the prosecution, so if you can look into it, it sounds horrible to me. Zelensky indicated that he intends to appoint a new prosecutor who will look into the company that you mentioned, referring to the Ukrainian oil company Burisma, of which Hunter Biden was a board member. Joe Biden bragged in January of 2018 that he promised a $1 billion loan to Ukraine if the previous prosecutor investigating the company were removed from his post. I will tell Rudy Giuliani and Attorney General Barr to call you. Thank you, Trump confirmed later in the call. The call confirms that the president had concerns that other European countries, particularly Germany, were not giving enough aid to Ukraine. Trump told reporters on Tuesday that this was a large part of the reason he opted to freeze hundreds of millions of dollars in aid to Ukraine shortly before the call with Zelensky, and that the freeze had nothing to do with the investigation of Biden. In the call, Trump tells Zelensky that the U.S. has given much more than the European countries are doing, and they should be helping you more than they are. Germany does almost nothing for you. I love how in the midst of this call, he has the opportunity to do a dig at Merkel and Germany. So let's go ahead and take a look at this transcript here. There's a couple of key parts I want to show you. All right, so right here on page 3, President Trump says, I would like you to do us a favor, though, because our country has been through a lot, and Ukraine knows a lot about it. I would like you to find out what happened with this whole situation with Ukraine. They say Crowdstrike. I guess you have one of your wealthy people. The server, they say Ukraine has it. There are a lot of things that went on, the whole situation. I think you're surrounding yourself with some of the same people. I would like to have the Attorney General call you or your people, and I would like to get to the bottom of it. As you saw yesterday, that whole nonsense ended with a very poor performance by a man named Robert Mueller, an incompetent performance, but they say a lot of it started with Ukraine. Whatever you can do, it's very important that you do it if that's possible. And Zelensky replies, yes, it is very important for me and everything that you just mentioned earlier. For me, as a president, it is very important and we are open for any future cooperation. We are ready to open a new page on cooperation in relations between the United States and Ukraine. For that purpose, I just recalled our ambassador from the United States, and he will be replaced by a very competent and very experienced ambassador who will work hard on making sure that our two nations are getting closer. I would also like and hope to see him having your trust and your confidence and your personal relations with you so you can cooperate even more. I will personally tell you that one of my assistants spoke with Mr. Giuliani just recently, and we are hoping very much that Mr. Giuliani will be able to travel to the Ukraine, and we will meet once he comes to the Ukraine. I just wanted to assure you once again that you have nobody but friends around us. I will make sure that I surround myself with the best and most experienced people. I also wanted to tell you that we are friends. We are great friends, and you, Mr. President, have friends in our country, so we can continue our strategic partnership. I also plan to surround myself with great people, and in addition to that investigation, I will guarantee, as the President of Ukraine, that all the investigations will be done openly and candidly. That I can assure you. All right, so then President Trump gives that quote about the prosecutor being shot down, and he says that Mr. Giuliani is a highly respected man. He was the mayor of New York City, a great mayor, and I would like him to call you. I will also ask him to call you along with the Attorney General. Rudy very much knows what's happening, and he is a very capable guy. If you could speak to him, that would be great. The former ambassador from the United States, the woman, she was bad news, and the people she was dealing with in the Ukraine were bad news, so I just want to let you know that. The other thing, there's a lot of talk about Biden's son. And then he gets into the information about Biden's son. And Zelensky responds about that prosecutor. He says, I wanted to tell you all about the prosecutor. First of all, I understand and I'm knowledgeable about the situation. Since we've won the absolute majority in our parliament, the next prosecutor general will be 100% my person, my candidate. Our guy, if you will, who will be approved by the parliament and will start as a new prosecutor in September. He or she will look into the situation, specifically the company that you mentioned in this issue. The issue with the investigation of this case is actually the issue of making sure to restore the honesty. So we will take care of that and we'll work on the investigation of the case. On top of that, I would kindly ask that if you have any additional information that you can provide us, it would be very helpful for the investigation to make sure that we administer justice in our country with regard to the ambassador to the United States from Ukraine. As far as I recall, her name was Ivanovich. It was great that you were the first one who told me that she was a bad ambassador, because I agree with you 100%. Her attitude towards me was far from the best, as she was admired by the previous president and she was on his side. She would not accept me as a new president well enough. And it just goes on. The president and Zelensky obviously have a very good rapport. They appear to like each other. They are looking to work together. They are looking to restore justice and honesty, not only here in the United States, but there in the Ukraine. And you can clearly see that Zelensky was very open to having Rudy Giuliani come into the country, and he was asking the United States for as much information as possible so that they can go after the people who broke laws there in the Ukraine. Now, one thing I do want to note, one of my viewers sent me an email and said that the other day when President Trump was speaking with the Australian Prime Minister, he was talking about attacks and he said terror. Now, I thought at first that that was just President Trump's accent, but it turns out that one of the banks that money was laundered through was actually Terra Bank. So even before this Ukraine stuff popped off, President Trump was giving us clues. Now let's go ahead and take a look at a few other things and some pieces that are absolutely going to blow your mind. Now, a piece here that was sent over from my good friend White Hat, a reporting from Kevin Cork, an excellent guy, says a source familiar with the White House Situation Room staff confirms that the two Situation Room transcribers who listened in on President Trump's call with Zelensky are Clowns in America employees. They are and were detailed to the White House from the Clowns in America. Obviously, this has been a clown op from the start. You cannot write it any better. Now, first of all here, from the official GOP Twitter account, it says, worth noting, one of the attorneys for the whistleblower worked for both Hillary Clinton and Chuck Schumer. Chuck Schumer and Hillary Clinton. So, obviously, these people are sending their best and brightest to try and bring down the president yet again, but it's not going to work because President Trump is the Teflon Don, if you will. So, let's go ahead and take a look at this article about that attorney. All right, so here in the Federalist, it says that the attorney for anti-Trump whistleblower worked for Hillary Clinton and Chuck Schumer. The anonymous person who filed a formal, uncorroborated complaint against President Trump for allegedly asking a foreign leader to investigate corruption related to Joe Biden now has a legal team that includes a Democratic operative who worked for Senators Chuck Schumer and Hillary Clinton. Andrew Bakaj, now a managing partner at the Compass Rose Legal Group, interned for Schumer in the summer of 2001 and for Clinton in the fall of the same year. According to Bakaj's LinkedIn page, more recently, Bakaj has worked as an official at the Clowns in America and the Pentagon and specializes in whistleblower and security clearances in his legal practice. Bakaj's anonymous client has filed a complaint based on rumors accusing Trump of requesting that Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky investigate 2020 Democratic frontrunner and former Vice President Joe Biden and his son Hunter for their business dealings with the Ukrainian energy company. The intelligence inspector decided the complaint is credible and urgent, but officials at the Department of National Intelligence said otherwise due to the lack of evidence undergirding the complaint and have refused to release it to Congress. The anonymous whistleblower whistleblower has also admitted to not even having firsthand knowledge of the conversations between the president and Zelensky. Regardless, House Democrats again demanded Trump's impeachment Tuesday following the claims, despite not reviewing the complaint or the transcripts of the conversation between the two world leaders. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, who has been hesitant to join calls for impeachment, announced a formal impeachment inquiry into the president Tuesday evening. President Trump announced Tuesday afternoon that he has authorized the release of that unredacted transcript, and we already know because we've already seen it. So clearly there is panic among the Dems. Remember what we've been told, 2019 is the year of the boomerang. Once again, they try to set up Trump, and it swings back and hits them right in the face. Now, seeing as the lawyer representing the whistleblower has worked for Hillary Clinton and Chuck Schumer, what does Hillary have to say about it? Well, she is clearly freaking out. On Twitter, she says, "The President of the United States has betrayed our country. That's not a political statement. It's a harsh reality, and we must act. He is a clear and present danger to the things that keep us strong and free. I support impeachment." Well, this right here is a very strong statement. For Hillary to now be openly supporting impeachment, it must mean that we are closer than ever to seeing justice performed here in the United States and abroad. Hillary has got to be quaking in her boots, and I don't blame her because we know that she has done many, many terrible things. And you can see from the replies below Hillary Clinton's tweet, people know she's panicking. We got Smells Like Panic. Enjoy the show. Another nothing burger. I can't speak for the rest of America, but there you go. 99.9% of sane people anyway. This is Shauna. Hey, how you doing, Shauna? So many people that watch my show here trolling Hillary Clinton. It's absolutely incredible. Once again, Hillary Clinton, you are not in a good position. This is clearly going to break it all wide open. President Trump says that Ukraine has the Crowdstrike server. We have the servers. Are these Hillary's email servers? Because Hillary is the one that was doing business with Ukraine, her, Joe Biden. They used information from Ukraine and the former Ukrainian president to try to bring down President Trump. They did that to bring down Paul Manafort, and it worked. So now, are we going to see the information against Paul Manafort proven to be absolutely incorrect? Is this going to set Paul Manafort free and at the same time put Joe Biden and his son Hunter in prison? We're going to have to keep an eye out. Now, one more thing, just want to point out everything that is trending right now. Just a moment ago, it showed Trump impeachment trending, but now we have Crowdstrike, we have Hillary trending with 241,000 tweets. Of course, Ukraine Transcript is trending. Let's go ahead and take a look at what else is trending. Dems is trending, Attorney General is trending, Zelensky is trending, President is trending. Trump impeachment is no longer trending. With the release of this transcript, it is very clear that this entire situation, this obvious clown op, is blowing up and boomeranging right back in the Democrats' faces. Now, from trending on Crowdstrike, we've, of course, got the regular mainstream media talking heads saying that President Trump is telling lies. But Chuck Woolery here says, Crowdstrike? Now, where have I heard that name before? Oh, yes. DNC used it to investigate their computer hacking deal. They wouldn't let the FBI do it. Trends map shows that Crowdstrike is trending in Dallas. Go to Crowdstrike. Fantastic refresher on Crowdstrike. Red Nation Rising says the real Russians that tried to change the outcome of a U.S. election. FBI, Clowns in America, DOJ, FISA Court, Media, Hillary, Obama, Democrats, Fusion GPS, Crowdstrike, Perkins Coie, Obama administration, GOP establishment. Trump and we the people beat them all. They'll never stop until they're punished. Now, from Hillary on trending, Sarah Carter has an article that she's written about Hillary's statement. We'll take a look at that in just a second. A couple other people say Hillary Clinton just said Trump has betrayed our country. I say no, you are the biggest traitor in American history and should be in jail. Who else is with me? I'm going to go ahead and retweet that one. And then Sean Davis says the Obama admin spied on the Trump campaign, enlisted foreign governments to assist, fed false information to FISA courts based on foreign lies funded by Hillary and the DNC. But Trump is the bad guy for trying to get to the bottom of foreign election interference? Okay, let's go take a look at the reporting from Sarah A. Carter. Former Secretary of State and First Lady Hillary Clinton jumped into the drama surrounding a whistleblower complaint that accused President Trump of offering Ukrainian President Zelensky financial aid in exchange for investigating former Vice President Joe Biden and his son Hunter Biden's business dealings in the country. The Justice Department, along with the Intelligence Community Inspector General, found no evidence that Trump's conversation violated any federal campaign finance laws as reported. Now, of course, we have the tweet from Hillary Clinton stating that he's a clear and present danger, and we know that Trump asked Zelensky to look into the alleged corruption allegations involving Biden and his son. Clinton, however, is under scrutiny as well for what appears to be her own financial dealings with foreign nations. One example involved her husband, former President Bill Clinton, and her role during her time as Secretary of State in assisting Swiss bank UBS during its banking scandal with the IRS. In 2009, Clinton intervened when she was Secretary of State. She assisted in cutting a deal for the bank. The deal forced the bank to turn over only 4,450 accounts for the IRS to review out of the 52,000 accounts sought by the IRS. The Wall Street Journal was the first to report the story. Despite criticism, however, her husband was later paid $1.5 million in speaking fees from UBS Bank. The White House released that transcript of the phone call where the deal was allegedly discussed earlier today. And the transcript revealed no such quid pro quo arrangement. And President Trump did express concern with Biden's son and asked Zelensky to work with Attorney General Barr to look into it. But there was zero discussion of payment. This is really shaping up to be the hugest scandal of the year. Clearly, it involves not only Joe Biden and his son, but it ties in the Democrats, Hillary Clinton, and so many other people. It's no wonder that they are freaking out, calling for Trump's impeachment. Now, more news in draining the swamp. Federal agents have raided the offices of Senator Martin Sandoval, a Democrat in Illinois. We know that there's been lots of stuff taking place in Illinois as of late. The FBI raided multiple locations connected to Illinois State Senator Martin Sandoval on Tuesday, and the feds confirmed they were carrying out authorized law enforcement activity but did not comment further. Sandoval is a Democrat member of the Illinois Senate, and he's been serving since 2003. How many more elected officials in Illinois are going to be taken down? Well, and more bad news for Never Trumpers. A former U.S. intelligence officer who hated Trump has been sentenced for spying for China. A former Defense Intelligence Agency officer who pled guilty in March to attempting to communicate, deliver, or transmit information involving the national defense of the United States to the People's Republic of China will serve 10 years in federal prison. U.S. District Judge Dee Benson imposed the sentence Tuesday afternoon in Salt Lake City. Ron Rockwell Hansen, 60, of Syracuse, Utah, was arrested June 2nd of 2018 on his way to the Seattle-Tacoma International Airport in Seattle, Washington, as he was preparing to board a flight to China while in possession of secret military information. One of 3 ex-U.S. intelligence officers recently convicted of acting on behalf of the People's Republic of China, Ron Hansen received hundreds of thousands of dollars for betraying his country and former colleagues, said Assistant Attorney General of National Security John C. Demers. These cases show how the breadth of the Chinese government's espionage efforts and the threat they pose to our national security. Our intelligence professionals swear an oath to protect our country's most closely held secrets, and the National Security Division will continue to relentlessly pursue justice against those who violate this oath. The Chinese government continues to attempt to identify and recruit current and former members of the U.S. intelligence community. This is a very troubling trend. These individuals must remain vigilant and immediately report any suspicious activity. Now, that right there is a quote direct from U.S. Attorney John W. Huber. I just want you to let that sink in. John Huber is the one prosecuting this particular case. And we know that John Huber is heading up a massive strike force that not only has jurisdiction here in Utah, but in every state of the union. John Huber could be tying this in to several other things that we've been talking about over the last couple of months. Now, why this is important? Well, we've always been told by our favorite Anon, it is China. China is who the danger lies with. And what did Biden and his son do? Biden was negotiating with China, and Hunter was given $1.5 billion by China. Does that mean that Joe Biden sold out his country? Well, that's what Rudy Giuliani and President Trump are hinting at. I cannot wait to see what else comes out in regards to this information on China. What else does Biden have in his closet in regards to selling out his country? Well, guys, what have we learned today? Well, we've learned that everything that the Democrats and the clowns and the Biden people have been trying to put out about President Trump has been a total nothing burger. President Trump did nothing wrong. President Trump, acting as the commander-in-chief of the United States, tried to safeguard the safety, security, and legality of our country. He has asked for justice to be metered out, and the Ukraine is 100% behind it. We've also learned that China is definitely still a threat to the United States. Their continued efforts to undermine our national security are not going unnoticed. John W. Huber might have a couple of more investigations up his sleeve that we're going to be finding out very soon. But I think over the coming days, we're going to get more information about exactly what took place. Rudy Giuliani said that the information as it relates to China specifically is very important and eye-opening. So continue to watch, I'll continue to report, and I want to thank everyone for joining me. As always, this has been Red Pill 78. I am the Corruption Detector, and this was your Red Pill News. Good luck, everyone, and God bless. Wait, stop. Don't go anywhere yet. It's your boy, Red Pill 78. If you want to help support my channel, there's a couple of different things you can do. You can always support my sponsors. They are literally what's keeping me on the air. You can check out the links in the description below for different ways to support me, either just one time or on a monthly basis. You can also go check out my store. Get yourself a nice Red Pill 78 t-shirt, hoodie, coffee mug, sticker, phone case, pretty much anything you'd want. It's by my good friend Bree. Also, if you could, just remember to like and share this video. And if you're not subscribed, maybe think about subscribing, because that's another good way to let me know and let YouTube know that this is content worth keeping. All right, guys, thank you so much. And check out right here. There's a couple of links for videos that you might not have seen yet. All right, take it easy.